Thanks for joining us, Bravehearts. So as you can see, there's a phone right here. See it? Okay. And with this phone, you are seeing just a few of the people. We have about 50 practitioners on right now today. And it can go anywhere from about 50 to 100 practitioners. And what we're doing is we're doing what we call a Master Consultant Training Q&A. So I don't know what the questions are going to be, but understand this. Here's the deal. Health is a language, and we're all attempting to learn how to actually master this language. I want to tell you something. For the general and for the major part of the population, they not only do not have the language of true health, they have a language that was built to actually destroy their health. And this is where we're at. Everybody needs to get this. I had a lady come on today before we start asking questions here, and she said, you know, Dr. Wolf, I've been following you for 2 years, and I don't know what's wrong with me, why I'm so stupid. I said, before you go any further, do not call yourself names. This is not about being stupid. It's about being programmed. People aren't stupid. They're programmed. And she said, okay. All right. Well, then I'm programmed, but it's taken me 2 years following you. And last week, I finally realized that it's emotional issues with me. And I'm struggling and fighting that it's physical issues. And I go, well, it's physical issues because that's the end result to the issues in your mind. Look at, if you can't address something, you're going to suppress it. So instead of putting it on the shelf in the kitchen because I can't deal with it right now, it will be going into a body part or organ, whether it's in your muscle tissues, your organ tissues, your joints. Okay. But understand something, the invisible will be embedded in the physical when you can't process, okay? Like I can't process. I love my family so much. I do so much for them, but my children disrespect me. My husband disrespects me. I'm so pissed off. I feel I'm being used. No, you're not. No, you're not. You've never learned how to love yourself, and it's always been emotional. You've been programmed to disrespect yourself, dishonor yourself, so you're only running the program that everybody else is running. That's the fun of this game. The fun of this game is actually to wake up and find out that one love, one law, unconditional love for yourself, and understand. You see these practitioners here? These practitioners, okay, they're only going to be as good as they are to themselves. If they can't practice unconditional love for themselves, they definitely can't teach it. If they can't practice unconditional care, meaning that making good choices on what they drink and eat, but guess what? At this point, if you're a master consultant, you don't eat anymore. You nourish yourself on an emotional and physical level. That's it. I'm not telling you that I don't sometimes have a little treat, but last night what I had was, can you do me a favor? No, I guess I got them all here. Where's the pink phone?
Right there.
Oh, it's on here? So they're all on here?
No.
Okay, well, make sure that you answer that phone. Okay, if you can. Okay, so I ate something last night that was totally delicious, okay? And the reality is that it didn't turn on me. So, you know, I'm making choices, wise choices, you know? And the problem is most people are never going to be wise because they don't have wise beliefs. And the problem is most people aren't going to be abundantly healthy because they don't have abundantly healthy beliefs. Most people are never going to be abundantly rich. Oh, because why? Because most people believe that money's evil. Meanwhile, money is energy. Money creates things for me. If I didn't have money, I wouldn't have this beautiful shirt on. If I didn't have money, I would have never created an app that's cost me $250,000 US to build and give it away for free. How could I even do that? So the reality is that until you want to change your beliefs, you're never going to change your life. So my practitioners come on here not because they just have health questions for their clients, their patients. They come on here because guess what? It is impossible to reach your full potential on planet Earth, and you better get it. You're never going to reach your full potential on planet Earth, it's impossible. You are a spirit being, but you are a slave down here to dysfunctional beliefs. You are a slave. And guess what? I can tell you this much, that, when I was approximately 28, around 28, 29, 30, I said, I am no longer going to live like this. And it wasn't, I'm going to kill myself. Like, guess what? You can believe it or not, think I'm making it up. I get about a half a dozen calls every day where people say, I just want to die. I just want to kill myself. Or they've got cancer because they've wanted to kill themselves for so long, and now they realize that they're so powerful, now they're going to die. So now we've got to try to change their belief systems and say, hey, why do you want to live? Okay? Well, you're not going to have that unless you love yourself, care for yourself. Because guess what? As long as you are desperate for someone else's love, you will always be contaminated, because love does not change anything. It's self-love that changes everything. So I'll let you think about that. And now I'm going to jump in on my practitioners and see what they've got to say. Who would like to go first?
Hi, Daryl. It's Shalu here.
Hi, Shalu. And Shalu, tell everybody, because we're online, tell everybody what's the name of your business and where are you from? And if you, can I say something, Shalu? And don't worry, everyone. If you haven't started your business up because you took the course yet, just, if you don't want to say who you are, then don't. Okay? Go ahead, Shalu.
Okay, I have Lotus Life Health, and I'm in Barrie, Ontario. And I've been practicing since June of 2021. And it's amazing.
All right. So just so you know, everybody, Shalu has a cardio med bed. She also has a Cellsonic. I'm also going there to do a New World Practitioner course where I do a 9-day whole life coach certification. Then Dr. Sage Wolf does a 12-day Wolf non-surgical certification. And then we do a 3-day pelvic certification for women. And understand something. I challenge anyone to come and take my course and say that it's not worth the money, or that we can't make you into a practitioner in just 22 days of the whole life coach and the Wolf non-surgical. That's it. That's it. That's only 22 days. And I guarantee you that if there's anybody on here that is a health practitioner around the world, I'm going to say it one more time because I love a challenge. I get to pick the person from the Barrie course. And if you're from Ontario and you're a doctor or you're a practitioner and you couldn't get one of your patients' clients well, I get to pick the person, and it's the first time they've taken my course, and we will hand that person over. And we will do a live, and we will prove to you that, guess what? We've all been ruled, screwed, and fooled, and that years and years and hundreds of thousands of dollars later, what a bunch of BS, okay? And I mean, that's a dysfunctional belief system. So don't think I swore, because I didn't. But guess what? Dysfunctional belief systems are like swearing, aren't they? Because they're going to keep you off of track for the rest of your life. Shalu, what's your question?
So I have a client that has been diagnosed with a triple negative breast cancer.
Okay. All right. So we know that, guess what? Okay. Can I just say this? What do I say to you when you tell me this stuff, Shalu?
They'll come up with any name for stuff they'll make it up. Yes.
Okay. So now if you had triple negative breast cancer, so I will tell you what it is, but hold on. More importantly, if you told a woman she had triple negative breast cancer, what would that leave the woman feeling like, Shalu?
No hope.
You are done. So guess what? They've been having trouble getting people to do chemo and radiation, haven't they? People are backing off. They are even getting more threatening to people. So now guess what? You've got triple negative breast cancer. So the reality is that I do. Oh my God, what is it? Oh, it's bad. It's not good. And people in your situation, they only have this much chance to make it through. The reality is this. Okay, who was it I on here with today? Oh, I was on with Jason. So I was on with Jason from Airdrie, Alberta, and we'll be doing a course there as well in July. But I was on with him and I said, it's like this. He came on with a patient today, Shalu, And guess what? This patient was given 6 weeks. And I said, they're absolutely right. If you don't want to change your personality, if you believe the cancer is a death sentence, then guess what? They're right. If you want to do an advanced water fast with all our nutraceuticals, our ionic calcium, our IGF, the infinite iodine, and then guess what? In this case, with an advanced water fast, because you've got so many growths in your abdomen and throughout your body, you know, we're going to have you do anywhere from 10 to 20 fiber clear systemic enzymes. And we're going to have you do those 5 times a day, where you open them up and you put them into water and blend it and drink it. And because you have an empty stomach, what do systemic enzymes do? They eat up things that shouldn't be growing in you, shouldn't be inside of you, shouldn't be blocking you up. And remember something, everybody. It doesn't matter whether you've got a joint problem or you've got swelling or you've got cancer, okay? The reality is it's always a physical block of scar tissue, calcification, and crystallization. That's it. And that's what cuts down the circulation, which cuts down the oxygen, which cuts down the detoxification, that cuts down the feeding of the cells. And remember that cancer is where the cells have been deprived of oxygen up to 35% for 3 days or more. That's it. And guess what? If you don't believe me, Dr. Otto Warburg received the Nobel Prize for it. So the reality is this. I will be on the phone, and you can call me a dummy if you want. And I'll be on the phone every day, and somebody will say, I've got ABCD doodly-doo. And I'll go, I've never heard of it. What? You've never heard of it? No, because they make this stuff up every year. They make up new diseases, new illnesses, and there isn't any new diseases or illnesses. It's just messages from your body. And every time they release a new frequency or they release a new toxin into the air, into the water, into the food, you're going to get a different combination of things. So you're going to have different symptoms, and that becomes the disease. And guess what? People aren't going to wake up to this, and that's the way it is. And yeah. So she's got triple negative. Have you talked to her yet?
No, I'm doing the consult tomorrow.
Okay.
From everything here, Daryl, like her height, 5'4", she's 121 pounds. She doesn't eat bad. She's doing 4 coffee enemas a day. Everything looks good, except when it comes to her bad habits, she sleeps late and she stresses a lot.
Well, that's enough.
And she does not drink enough water. She does not drink enough water at all.
Well, understand that, guess what? For the best health in your life and the best bowel movements, you have to drink enough water, and hopefully it's structured. It has no surface tension. It's 1,000% more stronger than any other water because it has no surface tension. And also, even if you haven't purified it completely, it doesn't matter because frequency will supersede the physical matter of any toxin chemical. If you structure it, you're protected even if it's still in there. The next thing is this. Do you know what breast it is?
No, she did not mention that.
Okay, well, make sure that you tell her to go watch the emotional chemistry of cancer, disease, and healing in the library so that she can finally wrap her head around that this is an emotional situation more than a physical situation. It was the invisible that created the physical. The biological was created by the psychological, right? And we know that. And the reality is the hardest part, Shalou, and you know it as well as I do, is to get people to wrap their head around that it's the emotional that creates the physical. So, you know, the first thing we want to do is get her on the right nutraceuticals to bring up her vibration, because we can change a person's vibration if we put them on the right nutraceuticals. And because if we put them on high vibrational nutraceuticals, it will bring up their emotional vibration as well and their physical vibration. And remember that wherever the nutraceutical is in the way that the frequency is, everything underneath it gets kicked out. So the lower vibrational things will start to get kicked out. The first thing we ever have to do is make sure that we get the cork out of that patient's butt to actually get them to start draining of the physical toxins to bring up their energy levels. And then that creates the faith in us. And then as they trust us more, then we can get into their emotional issues in their tissues.
Sounds good.
But you know what else to do. You know what, you've got a cell sonic. You know how to run everything and understand something. As as the population starts to learn the lingo and starts to catch on, the medical system will change the way they speak. Okay? Understand this. If I wanted full disclosure and I wanted you to feel powerful, Shalou, should I talk a different language that you know, or should I talk the same language that you know?
The same.
Then why is it that every product they have, it's some name that came from Mars, okay? And why is it that every disease we have makes no sense? Like fibromyalgia just means pain in the muscle fibers. Arthritis means inflammation in the joints. Colitis means inflammation in the colon. Sinusitis means that you've got a fungal problem in the cave of your nose because you've been doing too much dairy or too much sugar or something that's irritating the mucus lining. The reality is that the thing is this. If I say you have stage 4 inflammation, you still feel like I can change things. If I tell you you have cancer, you feel you have a death sentence. So the reality is we attach emotions to every word, to every image. If I say a word, you have an image. If I say cancer, what's your image? If I say stage 4 inflammation, what's your image? So the reality is we need to empower people that they know that they have the power to heal, because everybody we know has created their dis-ease, okay, otherwise their body calling out messages to them on a subconscious level, because you can go to school all the way through being a medical doctor and know nothing about health. And I just love this part. I'm going to go see my healthcare worker, my healthcare practitioner. What, a nurse, a doctor, a medical doctor? What are you, insane? Okay, if you want to go for emergency care, you go to them. Okay, what do they sell? Okay, they don't sell health. They sell drugs. They sell chemo, radiation. They sell surgery. And the reality is great. I believe it. We need emergency care, but we don't need it and to be replaced as healthcare. And understand something, and everybody needs to get this. Every one of these practitioners here, they have successful practices, and they are actually getting the patients and the clients that the majority of the population go to, that the majority of the population that are so-called healthcare professionals get thrown to us, because we're the last on the list. Because why? Why are we the last on the list? Because we're not promoted. Okay, remember something. It's all about marketing. You know, people buy products not because they're good or they're healthy or unhealthy. They buy them because repetition is how the subconscious learns. So that's the reality. So remember something, Shalou, when you're dealing with all of your client patients, that the reality is you've got to repeat the same thing over and over again. Oh, I already heard that. Well, you're going to hear it again. You already heard it. Well, you're going to hear it again. The only time you master something is when you get it, when you repeat it 10,000 times. So the reality is you need to make everybody, every one of your clients' patients understand that repetition is the key. I can tell somebody that unconditional love for yourself will heal you like that. But how do you have that when your family has been feeding off of you and you've been feeding off of your family more for love than anything else? So the reality is we've got to get every patient client to understand it's a self-worth, it's a self-care, it's a self-love, because you can't have permanent healing unless you change your personality. Because if you change your personality, you'll change reality. If you don't change reality, you can use massive personal action, but as soon as you run out of money or energy, you're going to fall right back to where you were because your personality didn't change. And that's what we need, is we need a personality change, which means we need to change the image of the way we see ourselves, our life, and everything else. That image changes the thought changes the emotion. And what if we were happy? What if we are actually happy and healthy? What if we were, no, forget the healthy. What if we were happy all day long? well, one thing, people would say that there was, you were handicapped or you were mentally challenged, because who in the heck is going to be happy all day long unless somebody tells a joke or somebody hands you money or tells you you're amazing? Well, it's a self-serve job. So now we're back to the same thing. It doesn't matter whether you've got a pimple or a tumor. These are all issues in the tissues. And the tumor started off as a pimple, whether you want to believe it or not. And I can prove that. Okay, Shalou, anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
I know that was long-winded. Next.
Hi, Daryl.
Hi.
I would like to ask a couple of questions related to non-surgical.
Please.
I'm in Lithuania, in Vilnius, and at the moment I don't have practice name and I don't have it registered yet, but I work on people that I talk to about non-surgical, and I get clients more or less easily.
And understand, love, it's like this. Maybe that's all you ever want to do. You know what? I just want to do that. But the reality is whether you do it part-time or you do it full-time, when you do it with your heart, you're blessing the world. That's it. Go ahead.
Yes, very true. One question is, I worked on the client's knee. He had torn meniscus 7 years ago.
Okay.
And now he feels the pain when he dances. He goes to some dance lessons, and when he turns the knee outwards, he feels some pain. And I worked on him a week ago, and I asked him how is he doing now. He said like nothing much has changed. So I thought maybe he needs more treatment. I'm not sure how many treatments.
No, because I'll be honest with you, you didn't go deep enough. Because you know what you said? Oh, I don't want to go too deep. I don't want him to feel any pain. So you didn't go into the nooks and crannies, because I'm going to tell you something right now. And don't take this as wrong. Everything is called repetition and learning. But in 20 minutes, how many times have you taken our course? Once?
No, 3 times.
Well, then you need to get moving, and you need to get deeper. How many people understand that the problem lies in the nooks and in the crannies, and understand he wouldn't have pain if you would have removed the physical block, being the scar tissue and the crystallization or the calcium? Do you understand that, right?
Yes.
Why would he have pain? Well, that's because you didn't go deep enough. So if somebody has had something longer, chances are they're going to have more scar tissue. It's going to be older. It's going to be more dehydrated. They're going to have more calcium buildup, right?
Yes.
And understand, where do you live?
In Vilnius, in Lithuania.
Okay, all right, Lithuania. Well, I could prove to you, like if you were around, I would show you that in 20 minutes we should be able, I gotta be honest with you guys, 99 out of 100 knees, you should be able to reverse them in 20 minutes to a half an hour by 80 to 90%. And if you ask any of the practitioners here, most of them, they're gonna tell you that I'm right. And that's it. So you're not going deep enough and thorough enough. Okay?
Yes. I guess also, because the person was receiving it for the first time, usually people are not familiar with the pain that, is going to happen. And
No. You didn't breathe with them. You didn't tell them to breathe into lion heart breathing. You didn't tell them that when you're working in there to voice the pain like this, like, oh, because that's how they let it go. Let me tell you something right now. If you want to be a great practitioner, you have to understand that pain is a GPS. It's not our enemy. Next thing is that when people say, oh, I don't want to have any pain in my life, those are the people that have the most pain. And the people that cannot go in and work deep and reverse this are people that are too sensitive. Okay, I feel everything. Well, I feel everything too, but I don't take it in. Okay, I go in there and do the job. I connect my breath to the patient, and I get in there and we eliminate this. When you go in there, you can feel the crystallization in the scar tissue. Yes or no?
yes.
Well, why didn't you stay there until you had that taken apart? And then did you tell this gentleman that after him doing this, that he needs to make sure that he's not on any inflammatory products? And for the next 5 to 7 days, he can go walking, but because you took everything apart, he shouldn't be going dancing until the tenderness has come down. Did you tell him not to do any dairy? Did you tell him not to do any alcohol? Did you tell him that he should be going and making sure he's got 3 bowel movements a day, and he should be doing 3 to 4 quarts of warm to hot water? Did you tell him that he should be putting pain away essential oil on the knee, okay, every 15 minutes to a half an hour, okay? Guess what? That pain away essential oil goes in and it has a vibration to help to heal the pain and get rid of it because it's healing the tissue. And then did you tell him to also use DMSO gel at least 3 times a day, because that goes in and keeps the circulation going, because a knee is made up of cartilage, tendons, ligaments, and guess what? The meniscus, and they're all cells, and all these cells have memory. So the cells go, no, we were supposed to keep the scar tissue. We were supposed to keep the calcium to try to lock the knee up because it has a problem. So the reality is, if he were to do all of I just said, then we wouldn't have had that problem. How am I doing?
Yes, the only problem that in Lithuania we don't have those products readily available.
So what you need to do, guess what? It won't be as good, won't be the same, but you're going to go and find out where the veterinarians over there get their DMSO from for the horses.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then 1 second. Then what you're going to do, don't tell me there's no essential oils in that country. Tell them that you need an essential oil that's for a joint problem or a muscle problem. Why aren't you thinking outside the box? I don't care. Buying our products is not important. Okay? You being the best that you can be and think outside the box. You need to take what we've taught you and drop nothing off the cliff. Understand something. This is how people do this. Okay? They have they have a 20-foot hole, and they build a 5-foot ladder for their patients and clients. I am going to let my patients, my clients know that if they do this, they're going to get this result, and I will back it up because I've been doing this for over 40 years. Okay? Over 40 years. Even if I'm as dumb as a stump, I figured it out. Now, the reality is you have to get your patient clients to actually, you know what? Take massive personal action, because people are people. Yeah, you can go to a feed store. You're right, Phoenix. Or they can go to a feed store, a farmer's feed store. That's it. Okay, so understand this. As soon as somebody starts spending a little bit more time and a little bit more care with themselves, what do they feel? Tell me what they feel. Guilt. But that's not true. They feel guilt. They feel beautiful for a bit, and then they start to feel guilty, because guess what? Your subconscious only runs prominent dominant programs. So whatever you've been doing for a long time and repeating it, that's all it wants to do. Does your subconscious allow new ideas in very quickly? No, not unless you're on your knees begging God, please, or you are in so much pain that you are going to override the subconscious and say, I better do something because I'm going to die here. So understand this. When people start to love and care for themselves, they fall off the wagon, don't they? How many people follow through with a loving, caring program for themselves? Or how many people follow through, or how many people fall off? Do you know? 1 out of 100 will follow through. That's it. Because guess what? Your family's not used to you caring or loving yourself so much, so they actually feel like you're pulling away from them. Okay? Or you're not living the program where you don't deserve to heal. What if you were a sinner? You don't deserve to heal. What if guess what? You feel guilty about something in your life. It's going to be a chokehold on you. Okay? So understand, a knee problem is an emotional problem, as a shoulder problem is. And if you look in your practitioner's guide, it's right in there and tells you what the emotion is attached to it. And then talk to the person and you'll find out that I'm right. It's okay. Body talk is the most powerful assessment, diagnosis, call it what you want. Okay. But we don't diagnose. We just assess it. And we can assess things by the symptoms people have, because certain symptoms have certain issues, emotional issues attached to them, and a certain way of eating. Okay? All right.
And one more question.
question. Can I work on a person who has condition on the neck called torticollis or right?
Oh, whoa. Torticollis is just a knot of scar tissue in the neck. So what I need you to do is I need you to look it up in the dictionary.
Yeah,
So,
actually I researched.
well, okay, you can call it wry neck, torticollis, but all it is this person, okay, has a knot, and the knot usually is going to be at the bottom, directly in the middle, or right under the ear. And guess what? That person has usually been running a fight, fright, flight life where they're terrorizing themselves continually. Okay, the last time that you were terrorizing yourself, how did your neck feel? How did your neck feel? It was frozen. And guess what? That means that you had cut down the range of motion for the view that you could see life, right? Okay? When you've got full range of motion, that means that you're willing to live a full life. That means you're not being terrorized. Most people that have neck problems like torticollis, they didn't hurt their neck physically doing something. They hurt their neck by fight and fright. They are terrorized. Oh my God, what's going on? Okay, every time that you have a neck problem, I guarantee you had a stressful day. I guarantee you didn't do your 3 liters, 3 quarts of structured warm water as a woman, and 4 quarts to 5 quarts for a man. And if you're a woman as big as a man, you better drink like one, okay? But the reality is you want to go in and work on that person. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to work up here first. Look at this. You're going to work right behind the ear where the earlobe is. And this is the first place you're going to go. And then you're going to come under here because you're going to untie, okay? You're going to untie at the insertion and you're going to work down here on the bottom on the lower neck. Now, you want to hear a story? And then I want you to come on next week and tell me I'm wrong or right. Okay, so now I just worked on a lady and she cleans houses, all right? Now she's got a huge lump right here. She was diagnosed with torticollis. She's got a huge knot right here in her neck, pushing on her vagus nerve, pushing on the rest of the nerves that feed the body, and the vagus nerve being the wandering nerve, which is the biggest nerve, which dumps the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. But now she's got a dam. She's dammed it up, so now she stays in a sympathetic state, fight, fright, because it can't actually dump the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Here's the deal. She gets in the chair. I start working on her. So I start working up here, just underneath the earlobe, under here, to loosen up the insertion. Then I come down here and I start working on the origin of the muscles coming here, because everybody has a bit of a knot down here. And then they're tied up in here, okay? And you know what she says when I start working on her? Do you not understand? I go, what? Do you not understand, she says, because she's a little upset. She says, I've been everywhere, and I just told you what my problem was. I have torticollis, and I have the problems here. It's not up here, and it's not down here. I said, just give me a few minutes. So I worked on her, and I guarantee you that I didn't work on her more than 20 minutes, and guess what? I said, now, do you mind feeling your neck? Go feel your neck. Where is it? Where is it? Well, when you untie the knot up here and you untie the knot down here, so many times we'll get a knot here, okay, that's protecting the insertion that has been crystallized in scar tissue and the origin down here, which has the same problem. So I untied the knot here, and guess what? The middle of it said, well, we can relax now. So then I went in, and then guess what? It was very small, and I went in between the vertebrae. And first I did up and down, and then I did across and went right in between the vertebrae, and I cleaned it out. Now, now remember, what did I do though? I had her on the chair at the beginning, but then I put her on the mat, and then I had her put her neck, okay, across my knee so that it would open up her neck. And then I went in there, and guess what? By untying the origin and insertion, I loosened up the whole thing in between. If she went to a chiropractor, he would have went like this, boom. And he might have been able to get it back into place, but it popped right out, because if I tie a knot in a rope, is it shorter or longer? It's shorter. So now that I undid this end and this end, there's more movement in here. So now the knot came down by, you can believe it, it doesn't matter if you believe it or don't, it came down by 70, 80%. Okay? Then I went in, and now that it's so much more relaxed, because now I've got more slack, right? Slack? So now I went in and I did up and down, and then I did horizontally, and it went in between each of the vertebrae. I cleaned her whole neck out. She said that she had never felt her neck. Okay, and then I said, how does that feel? And she goes, oh my God, the problem's over here now. Well, because now we just reversed her neck, and it took me 20 minutes, maybe 25, I don't know. Don't want to exaggerate, but 20 to 25 minutes, and now that's not going to come back. Why isn't it going to come back? Because guess what I did? I told her, I said, you're going to use the Pain Away essential oil, and you're going to use the Pain Away essential oil as often as you can think about it. Put it in your pocket, use it throughout the day. And when the pain comes down, you're going to switch to the muscle restore. So we have the tissue healing. But I want you, until the pain is completely gone, I want you to use the DMSO Rose Cream on your neck. Can you get that, please? Yep. And then take it to Lori, or take a message. Then I want you to take the DMSO Rose Cream, and I want you to apply that, okay, 3 to 5 times on your neck a day, okay? All right, so now I told her also to do clapping. Can you find my clapper? I think it might have been on there, or right here. And then I told her, all you're going to do from now on is you are never going to go without this. So when you come home, what do? Well, I like to watch TV to cool down. And I said, okay, how long do you watch it for? An hour or two. I go, okay, well, every time that you watch TV, you're not allowed to watch TV unless you're going to do this. Now, after her doing this for a few days, this will be orgasmic to her, so get it or leave it, okay? So what we think is pain, she becomes the master of her pain. So she decides when she's going to experience a little bit of pain to make sure that knot never comes back. She has full circulation, okay? And that's it. So now she's going to do both sides. So then I went and I did another 20 minutes on the other side, and then she said, wow, I feel like my head could just... I could just take my head off and carry it. Well, of course. And that's the way it is. How's that for an answer? Now, remember something. You're also going to get her to do the crab stretch. You're going to tell her to go to the do-it-yourself guide and look at the length and strength and detox videos. Get her to do the pelvic squats, and get her also to do the crab stretch. And guess what? She's not going to have the problem. Let me tell you something, everybody. You go and you do the best you can, build the best program you can, because understand something. They become your advertising, okay? All right? Somebody's asking here about Peter Temple's show yesterday. I had to take it off of Facebook, or they would have taken us down, because he talked about way too much. Where is it, Nat?
Rumble.
It's on Rumble. Anywhere else? What Telegram?
Yeah, it's there.
Doc of Detox Telegram.
Yeah, and then also on...
And also on BraveHeart Nation.
Yeah, and Bitchute.
Okay, and it's on Bitchute. But the best place to go for our videos, when you can't find them, they'll always be on Telegram the next day. So go to Doc of Detox or BraveHeart Nation Telegram if you want to watch Peter Temple just blowing up everything. Okay? All right. There you go. How was that for an answer for you with the...
Thank you. Very helpful answer. Thank you very much.
Just understand something. When they say torticollis, when they say anything, just understand there's nothing that you should be scared of. They just want you scared, and they want you to feel stupid. Okay? So why didn't they just say, I've got a knot in my neck. Do you think you can get this out? And I also terrorize myself continually. So what can I do about that? So did you actually take some time with her and tell her to get a BraveHeart love band to start trying to bring down the anxiety? 3, 2, 1, I got this. 3, 2, 1, I love myself. 3, 2, 1, nothing scares me. Okay, 3, 2, 1, I am the goddess of everything. And when she does that, she's snapping herself back into the present moment, keeping herself in her conscious mind, not in her subconscious, so that she terrorizes herself for an hour or a day dripping adrenaline and cortisol and creating more acidity, more inflammation, more scar tissue formation, calcification, crystallization, and making the knot bigger. And understand, love, every time that you get stressed out, any part of your body that you feel is a weakness gets worse. Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, there it is. So understand something. Don't be just a physical therapist, because a physical therapist mistreats people. Now, understand, there is no body work like ours. You guys all know that. You know it because you get everything the physios can't do, the chiros can't do, the acupuncturists can't do, the massage therapists can't do. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So the reality is this, and just know this, you don't hesitate and you tell everyone, because you're worth it, that they get a money back guarantee, that first treatment is going to outdo all the other treatments they've ever got. And you know that you're right, and you're not standing in your power. So stand in your power, because it's always been a scar tissue calcification crystallization issue. I mean, we're talking to somebody just before this. That knee should have been amazing at the end of that treatment. Should it be tender? Of course. You can't pull beef jerky apart that's knotted up and undo the knot and then open up the tissues without having some kind of tenderness. Reality is this. We don't get rid of scar tissue. We bring in the light. We bring in the blood. We bring in the lymph. And when you do that, scar tissue automatically goes right back to connective tissue. But no, the world is taught that once you have scar tissue, whether it's an adhesion, whether it's a lesion, whether it's a tumor, whether it's a fibroid, whether you're bone on bone, when you're not bone on bone, it's just tissue that's calcified, we're going to chop the sucker out. So understand that. Let's get this into our heads, okay? All right, we are not against the medical system, but 99 out of 100 surgeries never have to be performed, and every one of you know that. We have proven that to you over and over again. You get that in your heads and stand in your power. Anything else?
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Next.
Hi, Daryl. It's Tora.
Hi, Tora. How's Australia? How's the thunder down under?
Beautiful. Woohoo, thunder down under, and you're coming here in August.
Yes, I'm coming in August to do a New World Practitioner training. Why don't you give some dates about the training and also my lectures, where I'll be?
Amazing, amazing. So we're starting with the lectures in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
On the 27th and 28th of July.
Okay.
And please go in to the BraveHeart Nation to book your spot.
Yes, if you guys want to go to a free lecture and listen to more ranting and raving, okay, then just go to braveheartnation.com and book your spot, because it is limited, because these are free lectures and we sell out, okay? We just did one in Kelowna and we sold the whole room out, and we didn't sell it out, we gave it away, all right? That's what we do, all right? So
after that, we're going to Sydney, and then Dr. Wolf and his team is flying into Coffs Harbour, which is on the mid-coast of Eastern Australia. So it's right between Sydney and Brisbane, and we have hired out a beautiful little, like a holiday village caravan park. We've booked some beautiful little houses, and the training facility, there's two heritage listed halls with beautiful wooden floors, very clean, where we will be doing all the trainings. Our BraveHeart Health and Healing Circle is going to be from the 2nd to the 8th of August, and this is really for someone.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Dive deep into this incredible work, but someone who doesn't feel a calling to be a practitioner. And then we're going to do the...
If I can say something, Tora, yeah, the BraveHeart Health and Healing Circle, everyone, if you're in Australia, okay, or somewhere if you want to fly there, it's actually, guess what? Do you want to continually suffer on an emotional and physical level? Do you want to continually dishonor yourself? By the 3rd day, I promise you something, in the BraveHeart Health and Healing Circle, you're going to find your authentic self. It'll be the first time that you found your authentic self since when you first began to walk and talk. That's when you lost yourself. Isn't that something? It's a true story. If you want to learn how to completely love yourself and then share that with your family, because that's what it's all about. Why do we have to wait until we're down on our knees begging God, please, or we're just so desperate, we've tried everything else and we feel like we just can't take it anymore before we ever do anything to show that we love ourselves? There you go. Go ahead, Tora.
And following the BraveHeart Health and Healing Circle, we're going to do the Whole Life Coach, which Dr. Wolf himself is going to be taking. And after that, we are going to do the non-surgical with Dr. Sage Wolf. And then...
that's 12 days with Dr. Sage Wolf. And then after that, we'll do the pelvic course, right? For women, and anyone can take it, any woman. And it's 3 days, correct, Tora?
That's exactly correct. And it's all at Nambaka Head Reflections. And beautiful place. And spring is magical here in this part of the world. We are right overlooking the ocean, and the whales are actually out at that time. So they're going to be holding space for us. And it's a beautiful place in nature. It's very quiet. It's very private. And that really allows to go in deep.
All right, everyone. So you can go to braveheartnation.com and just know that we're going to go to Barrie right now and do the same thing. And then we're going to Calgary in July. And then we're going to Australia in August. And then the next course in North America will be Bonita, Florida. And that will be October the 2nd, just so everybody knows. Okay? All right. Anything else, Tora?
Yes, there is something else, Daryl. I would love to talk to you about the beautiful woman that I talked to you briefly yesterday.
Can you just tell me about her again, please?
Yeah. So she's 34 years old. She has 3 children under 6. And she's been experiencing a very low energy, but at the same time, terrible panic attacks. She's been feeling a lot of pressure on the heart. Late last week, she actually went to emergency to have it all checked out, and she has a lump on the right side of her head. And I was working very gently for quite a short time, just on the back of her neck, her occiput, and then...
Okay, before we go any further, what is her relationship like with her significant other?
Look, from what she's sharing with me, it's really beautiful, Daryl.
Okay, I'm going to just say this, and I'm not taking it away from her, but how many times do we start a course and we'll start talking to someone and it's just amazing, and then into it, it's not. It's awful. You know, the subconscious will protect a relationship even if it's abusive on any level. And I'm not saying, Tora, but understand there's something going on here, okay? And it may not be the significant other. It's just she's 34 years old and she's been running anxiety. Okay, what about the lady that I just did the Real People, Real Healing? I did it with her, and she said that if she isn't stressed out over her children, I said, well, where are your children? Well, they're all grown up. And she said, if I don't stress out a little bit every day, I don't feel like a mother. Okay? So the reality is that we've all been taught that the more we stress out, the more we love our family, right? Okay, so all you got to do is just tell her to try to become conscious. And what's the story she's telling herself every day? Listen, if she was telling herself a BraveHeart story, would she actually have panic attacks, anxiety? Would she? Come on, Tora. Would she?
Of course not.
Well, of course not.
Of course not. Yeah. And Daryl, since seeing her on Sunday, she's felt really unwell. She can't stomach any food.
Okay, well then guess what? Then we know that she's swallowing BS. So the reality is, unless you're going to teach her to do the therapeutic vomiting, it's going to be a long road here. That's your first thing. Understand, everybody out there, and all you practitioners on here, understand this. You make me sick to my stomach. You make my stomach is in knots. I can't digest that. Okay, I feel ill when I'm around you. Okay. And listen, this could be about nobody else. This could be about something that she has been living with, okay? And she's been made to feel a sinner, a loser, dirty, guilty, okay? But guess what? Whatever you feed gets bigger until it bubbles all over, and then it becomes a volcano. That's it. So if she doesn't want to do the therapeutic vomiting, then it's got all this. You've got to release the issues in the tissues. Where do you think stuff gets suppressed? I'm telling you, if a person were to look after their stomach and their large intestine, you'd have your health back. Front door, back door. That's it. The small intestine is 22 feet long, but it's counting on the stomach being healthy because everything starts, that's the first domino, and it's counting on the back door being healthy, which is the large intestine, which is 85% of the immune system. So if you can get the cork out of her butt, and if you can get her to do therapeutic vomiting and start using the warm water method, then she won't burn her throat. She won't cause an acid problem with her heart or her lungs or her throat. And guess what? She's going to tell you she feels much better. You know, a lot of people go, I've got to go and look at all of the emotional damage I've had for all these years. And how does that work, Tora? How does that work? It is the most stupidest thing. I'm in therapy now, and we're going back and we're doing taking a look at those people I can't stand and I hate and who hurt me so that I can forgive them. Really? Wow. Do you know what that's like? And that's the therapy that we do today. Yes or no? That's the big therapy today. Okay? And guess what? People are very stupid. Practitioners are very stupid. They have stupid beliefs. The reality is if you can own the moment, if you can change your beliefs, then you can move forward. That's it. I need to go back and forgive everyone that abused me. Well, that's going to take a long time because that would be almost everybody that was ever in your life. Because people run abusive programs on their self. You can only give what you got. If a person were to learn how to unconditionally forgive themselves and everyone else, they'd be here already. That's it. The reality is you don't even have to go back. All you have to do is tell a new story. Tell a new story right now. Start telling a new story right now. Remember something. How do they control us, Tora? How do we get controlled in society? They tell us the same fearful story all the time. Do you know what I do when I hear anybody would come with a fearful story, the next end of the world story? Oh, I think I'll go now. You know what? Enough, please. You know what? How many times have you died, Tora, from the end of the world scenarios? Oh, I just can't take this. That's never going to be over until you totally embrace loving and caring for yourself. So, you know what? If you can't do it for yourself, Tora, your patients are never going to have it. Okay? And the thing is we're not trying to make the husband right or wrong, or the children right or wrong, or her mother and father right or wrong. We're trying to get her to sing a new song. That's it. Sing a song of joy and happiness that puts her in the present moment and picturing the way she really wants to see her life. You know, and then she can say to you, well, that's a lie because my life is not like that. And I said, yeah, but your life is not like what you are feeling right now. You're dramatizing, okay, traumatizing, and reactivating the worst story you could tell yourself. So what is the fuel for the story? Who are they? What is it? What is it? How did it happen? You can talk about it, but then you've got to leave it behind. Just like, you know what? You need to leave stuff behind that no longer works for you. Tell a new story. But you do know, Tora, that in a case like this, it's very rare that this woman would ever heal unless she's going to be in a BraveHeart circle or a whole life coach certification. It's going to be very rare. We might be able to help turn down the burner so that she's not abusing herself as much. And understand something. The religious bug is the worst one. And then people will say, I'm not religious. I'll say, yeah, we've all got it. What do you think guilt is? Guilt's a religion. It is. Okay. How guilty are you? Well, you're as guilty as the belief systems that your mommy and daddy or your peers gave you, because we can get the same belief, okay, and have 20 people in here and they'll all have different jail sentences, and they're invisible. They're not physical, but they're even more harmful. How are we doing?
Spot on, spot on.
I know I'm spot on. It's always spot on. And it's not because I'm a genius. It's logical. There's no logic left. And that's what I teach you guys, is logic. Once you have logic, I don't care how long this so-called doctor has gone to school. They've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. It's called feel your way through. It's called when your patient client walks into your office, you are going to look at the condition they're in, okay, in between this much space. Not the condition they have. The condition they have is just the messages of the body from the story they tell. Whether it's heaven or hell. And heaven and hell just live in the mind because they don't live anywhere else as far as I'm concerned. And now I'm probably going to go to hell forever for all the religious people that are in the group here. Okay, can't wait. Okay, who's next? Tori, do you have any other question?
After this call, would you just briefly jump on with me and her, please?
Yes, I will. And then I need to also, I want to make sure that I get the end cottage, okay? So I can have some breathing time for the time we're there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I will. As soon as this call's over, call me. And we will go on together and we will have a beautiful discussion. And the reality is this woman has chokeholds. She has invisible chokeholds on herself. And understand, aren't we sweet? Aren't we sweet? We can be 80 years old and we're still just self-punishing with the beliefs that we were given when we were younger. Isn't that nice? Okay? Understand, the subconscious being 90% of your brain, okay? And your brain's not smart. You're only as smart as the beliefs you have in your brain. And you're only as healthy as the beliefs you have in your brain. You're only as wealthy as the beliefs you have in your brain. And that's it. And most people don't understand that. It's just a computer. Okay? So now she's got anxiety. Pretty soon she'll have depression. Then she'll be on drugs. And there is no depression. There's just anxiety that burnt out her brain. And that's why she has no energy, because fires eat up the oxygen in a human body. So inflamed, she's burning up, baby. And she's burning up all of her nutrition too. So there's not going to be anything left. And the reality is she's being a good little girl and she's making sure that she follows through on the punishment that her beliefs have created for her. Are you with me? All right. Okay. Anybody else, or are we done?
I do have a question, Daryl.
Yes.
It's Kathy. I have a product question. I have, of course, you know my mother's story here.
Yes, I do.
Now I think she's got terrible brain fog because of the situation she's
Can you hold
been
for a
through.
second? Can you put on the air?
Yeah.
It's getting hot in here. And would you do me a favor and grab me a quart of carrot juice?
Sure thing.
And just put some in a glass for me, like that one. Thank you. Go ahead, love.
It's a nutraceutical question, I guess. How can I sneak, or what's the best product I can sneak in my mother's diet? She lives on her own. I was thinking about the Marigen to help with brain fog, but I can't rely on her to take it.
How are you gonna get her to do that?
This is it. How can I sneak whatever?
Oh, wait a minute. She lives on her own, but you're gonna sneak something in. How about just?
I take her dinner every night, and I'm wondering if there's something that you would suggest that I could put. I was thinking about C60 in something.
Well, here's the deal. Why don't you make her soup every night and mix black gold into it, blend it up, mix black gold. And why don't you put C60 into it, because that won't be harmed. And why don't you dump one Sanonian mineral in there and just make sure you spice it up and make it taste good, right?
No, yes.
Okay, that's it. That's enough. That's enough. And you know what else you can do? You can actually, instead of using water, okay, you can use like 4 to 6 ounces of the daily cleansing tea. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
You know, the daily cleansing tea does not get hurt whether or not you put it in soup or you put it in a blender drink or you just drink it. And guess what? If you gave her like even just I'd start off with 4 ounces and then ask how her bowel movements are going, but don't say anything else because you're a little sneak. And and then go up to maybe as high as 6 ounces in the soup. And always bring her soup every day. And in the soup, you can put the black diamond or the black gold, and you can put the C60. You should be able to put it, she'll think it's just oil. So the C60, which we know that will rewire her brain, help her eyesight, it's 300 times stronger than vitamin C. You know, you can put that right in there and just mix it up. She'll just think it's olive oil. Welcome to the, which it's coconut oil. Hey, Mom. Mom says, what's that? Well, it's just coconut oil. It's good for you, Mom. Okay. All right. And then, you know, the soup's darker because you can put the black gold in, and the tea, she'll never even know it's there. And then I would put in 1 Sinonian capsule and see how it tastes, and then just do a sample of it. And if you can get the second one in, if you could get 2 Sinonians, come on. In the Sinonian minerals, which is going to be named, guys, it's going to be changed. It's going to be called the Perfect Day Multi. It has 150 nutrients in it. It is more powerful than even a prenatal multi that women get. There's nothing like it on the market. You give her those things and hide it in there. You can hide black gold in any baking goods, right?
Yeah.
You can hide black gold in anything that you make. Anything.
I've got her on, at least she knows how to
Okay,
use 2.
why aren't you making her the ultimate chocolate amino boost shake? Because guess what? She would love it. So now we've got organic Dutch chocolate in the amino boost. It's got all her amino acids. Okay, and in that you can put some black gold. In that you can put some C60 again. In that you have no problem putting a Sinonium 1 or 2 and take her over. Take her over. I'd say 16 to 20 ounces of it. She'll drink it. I mean, there's a little kid in all of us, and it's beyond delicious. Add the organic bananas to it. Use the oat milk to make it really creamy. Okay, and then put in about 3 to 4 dates into it. Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, I did that when she was here.
Well, do it again and just put it into a thermos and put some ice into it. She'll be fine.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. And I've got her taking the Oramus in her regular drinking water. So she knows to put those droppers in, but I feel like I need to do something more fast-paced because with the medication, unfortunately, that she had been put on, she's even forgetting to take
okay, well, just know this. With the infant iodine, Mom, if you ever feel, every day, if you don't want to get a sore throat, if you don't want to get any viral infections, which is not a lie, spray the back of your throat. Now, how much could she spray? Buy a 16-ounce bottle, and you know it's going to last her forever. Yeah. Not forever, but for a long time. And just say, Mom, when this empties, this 1-ounce bottle, just have another one handy and then switch them out. And just say if you don't want a sore throat or any infections, right? Because this iodine, you can take as much as you want, spray it in the back of your throat, and it'll neutralize a viral infection in 15 seconds. Well, she's going to love that. Now, if you told your mother, please take this because it's going to balance your thyroid and your hormones, she'd say no. But nobody likes pain. Nobody wants a sore throat, and nobody wants a cold or a flu, especially now since we get the COVID. Okay?
Yes. No, beautiful, beautiful. Now, she's been prescribed blood thinners. It's a whole family thing, but anyway. So if she's forgetting that, whatever, the C60 would help with. She's supposed to be on blood thinners. I don't really want her on this medication, but all of that will help later on if she forgets.
Why aren't you putting some, the Fiber Clear doesn't taste. Why don't you put some Fiber Clear in the soup? Why don't you put some Fiber Clear in the blender drink?
Okay.
Fiber Clear is a systemic enzyme. That's going to clean up the blood. It doesn't thin out the blood. It cleans it up. Remember something. When somebody says blood thinners, that's a dangerous thing. I mean, how thin do you want it? When you take Fiber Clear, you're not thinning out the blood, you're cleaning it up. So understand, she should never, okay, first of all, just know that they didn't lie, right? They want to thin your blood. What the medical system should be saying is, let us give you this. It will clean up your blood. But they're not cleaning up your blood, so they're not lying. They're trying to thin it out. And we know that most of the medications are a form of like rat poison, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I know.
Okay.
And just on another note, I have a client that I did some salsonic on with them today. It was a really rushed time, so she's coming back to do the whole full-blown consultation. She fell on black ice not too long ago and really hurt her shoulder, like the rotator cuff from down her arm down to her elbow. So I did 1,000 pulses today and told her if it didn't give her relief, she'll have to come back. Typically, I'm just wondering,
I know, but guess what? Even though she was in a hurry, could you, okay, just next time, could you just do 1 minute, 2 minutes on the elbow and up on the bicipital groove? That's all you had to do. 1 minute on the bicipital groove and 1 minute on the elbow, right in the joints and the nooks and the crannies, just 2 minutes.
She could only take power 1 on the elbow.
I understand that, but then guess what? I want you to go in there with a loving stroke. And guess what would happen after a minute? You'd be able to go deep enough to just, I'm not asking for you to break anything down. I'm trying to ask you to loosen it up. Just get it out of its contracture. Because understand, anytime that you have damage, your body sends in fibrin and it sends in too much. And then guess what? Any place that you have damage, you have pain, you get cortisol going there and adrenaline. Yes or no? That is like super glue, so it's sticking the fibers apart. So all I needed you to do is just lovingly go in with your elbow and just move it, that she's got some movement. And with the extra movement, she's got circulation. And we already know that if you had perfect circulation, you'd have perfect health, right?
I know, and I'm waiting on my bed.
Well, you'll get your cardio med bed, and you guess what? You don't need it right now. You'll be too busy.
Yeah.
Guess.
By the way, I did hear from Marie, so I'm following up with her.
Good. Good for you.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, John.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Then I guess we're done. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out, and then I'd like the host to log back in, and we'll have a 15-minute meeting. Okay. All right. So the hosts that are hosting Calgary, Barrie, and Australia, and then any of the master practitioners that have anything to do with the trainings that we're doing, all right, then you can log back in. Everybody, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And just know this, that we all have the power to heal. It's not an understanding, it's an inner standing, okay? All right? God bless everyone. Have a beautiful day. And don't forget, our sale is still on, and it'll be over on Friday. So if you want to take advantage of our spring into summer sale, go right ahead. Take care. And 3, 2, 1, we've got this, Bravehearts.